Hi there. I'd like to show you how to dynamically create images using an API by using PHP, the gdlib2 and qrserver.com as the API. Something about me. That's me. My name's Alex. You can follow me on Twitter if you like. I participated in this year's Spreadshirt API contest in early summer 2011. And what I did is a little shop where you can buy t-shirts with QR codes on. And these QR codes are taken from an API and they're mixed with background images by using PHP. So I will not tell something about the Spreadshirt API because I think you can read a lot about that on the web. And for me, working with APIs is remixing the web. So you take something that is already there, like the Spreadshirt API, and you throw something in that you created by yourself, like the image we're going to create, and you get something new. That's what I like about it, and that's why I'm an API junkie. So this is what we're going to create, a little warning sign with a QR code on it. And here's the plan how we're going to do it. We first need a container, an empty container that can hold all the stuff we want to put in. And then we're going to first put in the background, and to make it tasty we're going to put in the QR code. So we're gonna paste the QR code onto the background. If you want to take a look at what I did, take a look at qrcodeshirt.de. I hope it's gonna be up in a few days. So let's get started. I'm gonna open Notepad++, my favorite editor, and I already created a folder called I'm sorry, I have a bit cold. A folder called QR demo. And here's a picture called background.png. So this is what our background looks like. It's 500 by 550 pixels. And let's start with a new file. I'm gonna save this as index.php. So let's open PHP. First thing we have to do is we have to tell the browser that it has to render this file not as an HTML file but as an image. So we have to send a header, and we have to set the content type to an image of type PNG. So our first plan was let's create this empty container. This empty container is going to be an image object in PHP. So let's call it image container, and let's call the function image create true color. So with this we're going to create a new true color image. This one wants to have the pixel measurements, so it's 500 by 550. Our image container has to be transparent, so we also have to call a function on this image object called ImageSaveAlpha. ImageSaveAlpha wants to know which image we want to make transparent, so we take our image container and we set the function to true, so our image can work with transparency. Now the next thing we have to do is a little bit odd. If we want our complete image to be transparent in the background, we have to fill it with transparency. So first thing we have to do is we have to create a transparent color. Let's call this alpha color. And the function to create a transparent color is image color allocate alpha. So first it wants to know for which image we want to create it. We want to create it for image container. Then it needs 3 values for RGB. In our case, it doesn't matter which values these are because it's going to be completely transparent. So I can take 0, 0, 0, and it wants to know the alpha value. This is going to be 127, so highest alpha. So it's going to be completely transparent. Next, we have to fill the image with the color we just created. The function for this is image fill. Then it wants to know which image, or image container. Then it wants to know where to start at the XY axis. So it's going to start at 0, 0, and then which color to use. So our alpha color. Okay, so our container is ready. What we can do now, we can render this image we just created. So we call image PNG, and then give this function the image we want to render again. It's our image container. Now if we call this in a browser, let me open Mozilla. Let's go to localhost QR demo. You see nothing, but you can tell by the header that this is a PNG image with 500 by 550 pixels. You can't see anything because it's completely transparent. But if I mark it, you can see it's there. Okay. So next thing we want to do is we want to paste in the background. Our background is the background.png in the same folder as our script is. And to call this, we first again create an image. We create it from a file, and then we copy it onto our image container. So let's call this background. Now let's create an image object. Image create from PNG. That's the function to create it. And this wants to know from which file we want to create it. We want to create it from background.png. Now let's copy this onto our image container. We do this by calling image copy resampled. Using image copy resampled makes it very smooth. If you use just image copy, it's gonna not look very cool. So first it wants to know where to copy it. We want to copy it onto our image container. Then it wants to know what to copy. We want to copy our background. Then it wants to know where to position it at 0, 0. Then it wants to know where to start the image, also at 0, 0. Then it wants to know where to end the image at 500 by 550. And then again it wants to know the size of the image. That's also 500 by 550. Okay, let's take a look at the browser. And here it is. This is our script, and it contains exactly the background URL, the background.png we have in our folder. Okay, now we come to our QR code. The QR code we use is taken from qrserver.com. They have a really simple and really great API. So let's take a look at there. qrserver.com. If you are there and you're gonna plan something big, take a look at the premium services. They really rock. So here's the free API. I'm gonna use this, and what you can do there is you can call simply a URL where you give a size and you give the data that should be rendered onto the QR code. Okay, now let's create the image. Let's call it QR image, and this is also made with image create from PNG, because we get a PNG image from QR server. And now let's paste in the URL we need. So 150 by 150 is not big enough. We want it to be 265. Okay, and for the data, I'm gonna put in my my Twitter profile. Here it is already. Okay, so this is the URL for the image we want to use. Let's bring this in here. Great. And now again let's copy this image onto our background image. So again we use image copy resampled. This time we're not going to use background as the file we as the image object we want to copy. We're going to use QR image. And now what we have to say is the image is going to end at 265 pixels, and the size is also 265 pixels. Okay, let's take a look at this. Let's reload. Now the QR code is already here, but it doesn't look very good. We have to position it somewhere in the middle, around here, and we have to get rid of this white background you can see. Now first for the positioning. By using image copy resampled, we can say where the image should start. So ideal would be 115 and 150. So it starts at 115 and end 150, and it's gonna make the image this big. So let's have a look. This looks pretty good. Before I will go on, I have to start the screencast, to stop the screencast for a moment, and we will go on in part 2. Welcome back to part 2 of my tutorial. Let's take a look at what we have already. We created the image container. We filled it with an alpha color, so it's all transparent. We copied the background image on it, and we copied the QR code image on it, and we positioned the QR code image in the center of the picture. So this is what we have. Now next we want to get rid of the white background on the QR image, and we have a little problem with this because you can't tell the QR server API to have no background. You can change the background color, but you can't say make it transparent. We could fill it with a yellow color, but as you can probably see, we have a slight gradient here in the background of the image. So we need to set it transparent in any way. For this, let's use the filter options of PHP. They're called image layer effects, and if you tell an image to have an image layer effect, everything you copy on it will use this image layer effect. Now, before we do the copying of the QR code, let's call image layer effect. We want it to be on the image container, and we want to use the effect image effect overlay. Now this is an effect which is similar to the overlay effect in Photoshop. If we now take a look at it, loads a bit longer. Okay, you can see that everything that is black has darkened down the background image, and everything that is white has brightened up the background image. Now if you want the white to be invisible, it has to be some neutral gray, and we can do this by calling the QR server API with another parameter called bgcolor, and we want the background to be in 80/80/80, so that's a neutral gray. Now let's take a look at this again. Okay, the white is all gone. It seems transparent now by using the effect, but the black is in a very low contrast. So this doesn't look very good, and you wouldn't be able to scan this with the phone most phones wouldn't recognize this QR code. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna copy the QR image a few times over the background layer. So let's make a for loop. Lower than 3 $i plus plus. So this is gonna copy the QR code 3 times onto our image container. And here we go. This is what we wanted. Our warning sign with a nice QR code on it, rendered by a PHP file, and this can be downloaded as a PNG file. You can print this on t-shirts, you could print this on anything you want, you could use this in web pages. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I'm gonna put a link to the script in the show notes. There will also be a link to the background.png. You can download this for free, so you can use this code in any way you want it. It would be nice if you would mention me if you use it, but you don't have to. If you got some questions or some remarks or something else, put it down here in the comments. It would be nice to hear from you, and it would be fine if you come up with some own ideas how to make it. You could make some grungy styles with your Flickr images or whatever. I'm always interested in what you're doing with this. Okay, thanks a lot for stopping by, and see you next time. Bye bye.